Okay, welcome to our shir, Parshas Noach.5781. As we move along, Baruch Hashem, we're already our second week in our new cycle, and we deal with some very interesting things. We're going to talk today a little bit about the Dor HaFlaga. And we know it's all the way at the end of the parsha. It's sort of like Parshas Noach is like two parshas. The first half of the parsha is all about Noach and the Teva and the Mabul, and they come out. And then things sort of go south a little bit. As it says in the Pasuk, you go to Perek Yud Aleph, page 29, in our art scroll, it says, Vayhi kol ha'aretz safa echas v'dvarim achadim. And all of a sudden, everybody comes out. Remember, they're all from one mishpacha. They're all cousins. I remember by the Siyum Hashas, I was in MetLife Stadium, and I was trying to explain our oilam to one of the people working there, and explaining to them why is it that we can't stand there to let some people in, not other people in. And I said that Orthodox Judaism is more than a religion; it's a family. We're all mishpacha. We're all family together. We all feel tzazamen. I said, I can't not let my cousin in. It's not nice. I need a guard there to not let them in. But they were all one. They were feeling a certain achdus. Unfortunately, that achdus was not like the Siyum Hashas achdus, which was cool toiv and it was beautiful. They were feeling an achdus to be bel. Vayim Sami Kedem. They went away from Kedem. They went away from the east. And Rashi says that Kadmaina Shalaylam, they went away from the Rebbeinu Shalom, V'yimtzu Bika, and they found themselves a valley, Beret Shinar, V'yeshu Sham, and they said let's build ourselves a migdal. And Chazal tells us we're going to go up, Naslo no shame, we're going to make a name, Pen Nafutz, Al Pnei Kol Arts, perhaps we'll be spread out over the world. If we're all concentrated in one big metropolis, one metropolitan area, we're going to become Geisa Mansion. And Chazal tell us, you know what their kavanah? Their kavanah was to build a migdal. Why it was in a valley is another story. And they're going to go up to Shemaim and they're going to fight with the Rebbeinu Shem Rachmana Litzlan, Chas v'Shalom. And Hashem sees, Vayerd Hashem Liros as a year, and Hashem sees it. He sees the city, Ves Migdal, and the tower Asher Banu, and he says, no, not going to work. It's not happening. Not Lamaisa. So he says, Hava Nerda V'Navla Sham Svasim. We're going to go. We're going to mix up all of their lashinas. And then we're going to make them, and you know all the stories, as kids remember all the Geshmaka stories that they have when we were, you know, the guy, different languages, Hashem made different languages, and the one who asked for a hammer, and he hit him, and all these type of things. And they said, Hava nerda v'navla sham safa asher lo yishmu ish tzvatzrei. We're going to make different languages. And then it says a second thing. So the first thing that happened that Hashem did is he gave them all different language, but it says a second thing. Vayafetz Hashem oisam misham al pnei kol haaretz. He spreads them out. Vayatu live noisir, so they stopped building the city. Al kain kar shma Bavel. It's called Bavel kisham Baal Hashem sfas kol haaretz. Hashem mixed up the language of the land. And we have, of course, we know from the Iraq Museum that all the antiquities going back thousands of years, it was the birthplace of civilization, Azay Zuktman. And it came from the Tower of Babel where it started, and then Hashem literally put them into Gullus. He put them all over, he spread them all out. So he did two things, language and geography. And I'd like to go on the geography part. I'd like to understand it and perhaps say an insight that will help us today. Everything in the Torah is they Chazal say the Zayir Lashon Hayra, Torah is Meir. So we always look and we always try and find something we can learn from it. So in order to understand that, I'd like to go back to a previous Gullus. It's hard to believe we're only in Parshas Noach, we already had a previous Gullus. And that's the Gullus of Cain. And I heard a beautiful shir from Rav Eliezer Leaf, the Rosh Shiva, the Yeshiva of South Monsey, and I'd like to bring out one Nakuda from that shir. And I think it will give us an insight, and then I would like to share my own hisafa on that. So we have the story of Cain. Cain, we know, despite Hashem trying to calm him down, goes out and he kills Hevel. He kills Hevel. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him the famous Kol Demei Achicha Tzaiken L'Alai Min Adama. We've talked about the word Kol, which means not just what's the Kol Demei. Says that you did such a thing, and Nebuch, all the dairis that won't be born from him, all the simchas that he won't attend. It's a terrible thing that you did. So Hashem says, what are we going to do with you? So he says that we're going to give you a curse. He says, in Pasuk Yud Beis, Ki Savad es Adama, you're going to go like Saiza, taste Kaich, you're going to have a hard time. And No v'nod tiyabaretz, and you're going to be a No v'nod. You're not going to be able to become a farmer. You're going to have to be a No v'nod. No v'nod is like two words, and I saw different pshatim. No is like a real wanderer. Nod is like a little bit more settled, but still wandering. So you're going to be a No v'nod. It's an expression that we use even today. So that's what Hashem tells him. He doesn't tell him you're going to get killed. You're going to become a No v'nod. Vayomer Kayin el Hashem, Gadol avayni minasai. My sin is so great, I can't bear it. Hein gerashtosi hayayim al pnei kol adam. I'm going to go out. Umipanech esaser vayisi No v'nod baretz. He says the same lashon. He says, I'm going to be a No v'nod. So what does that mean? Why did he have to repeat it? Hashem told him he was going to be a No v'nod. I said, he should have said yes. What does it mean? And I'm going to be a No v'nod. Hashem already said it. She says, Kol Maitzi Ageni, they're all going to kill me. Why? So he said the pshat is that he looked, a person has a tzelem elokim, and a behemoth doesn't have a tzelem elokim. When somebody's right seyach, in a certain sense, they lose that tzelem elokim. They don't have it. And therefore there's a behemoth, the behemoth is not afraid of them. The behemoth looks at them and sees Noach behemoth. You know what behemoths do to each other? So he says, interesting, that 7 dairais, for 7 generations, Hashem said, I'm going to let you go for 7 generations. And what happened after 7 generations? So if you look a little bit farther in the parsha, there was another man named Lamech. And Lamech went hunting, and they made a mistake. His spotter, Tuval Kain, made a mistake, and he spotted what he thought was an animal. Turned out to be Kain, and he shot his bow and he killed him. Why would he think it was an animal? The answer is because he turned back into an animal. For 7 dairais, he got a dispensation from the Rebbeinu Shalom. You're going to still keep your tzuras elokim, but after 7 generations, you're what a behemoth. You're the behemoth because you were right seach. You killed someone. Vayomer lo Hashem lechein kol harig shevasayim yukam v'yatzem shem lekaim ice. So he made an ice for him. What that ice is, we've spoken about in the past. And he said, kol maitzai, anybody who kills him, so you're not allowed to kill him. That's it. Vayetze kaim ifnei Hashem, vayesha be'eretz kedmas edim, and he went out and he sat in a place. He made himself vayesha be'eretz noid kedmas edim, and he went out to the place of Noid, which was east of Eden. So the shaila is, if he was supposed to be No v'nod, so why did he say he lived be'eretz Noid? So it's a zayfrek the zoyer. What does it mean you should live be'eretz Noid? It said that you'd be a No v'nod, and now all of a sudden v'yesha be'eretz Noid. So the zoyer, because Kayin did tshuva. Kayin said the word Gadol avayni minasai. Great is my sin. Zok the zoyer, when he said that and he did tshuva, Kodesh Baruch Hu said, in that case, I'm taking away half of your gezerah. Half of the gezerah is going away from you. Now, instead of being a No v'nod, you'll only be a nod. And that's the lesser level, because the no is the ADD, running around. He's going to be all over. You're not going to be able to stop. They're all going to be looking at him and chasing him. Reb Zilberstein says, you know what the ice was? He says, we know that a criminal goes back to the scene of the crime because, he feels he's a Retzach. He says, a normal person walks down the street. It doesn't bother him that people are looking at him. He's a regular person. When he's a Retzach, as they say in Yiddish, the God of Brentum Hittel, and when he walks down the street, he thinks, oh, everybody's looking at me, I'm a Ritzach. They know it. Somehow they can tell him a Ritzach. He feels it. So he says the ice wasn't what they call the mark of Cain, wasn't to face something on his forehead. It was pushed the way he felt. The way he felt that I'm Ritzach. Ich bin nicht a normaler Mensch. I'm not in the middle of everybody. I've done something which is so bad that I can't live. So he went and dug the Zoyer and he got forgiven. And therefore he was able to veyesh be'eretz noid. He still wasn't totally settled, but it was better. So he gets married, he goes with his wife, and they have a child named Chanoich, and he builds him a city named Chanoich. He names the city after his child Chanoich. What's the Torah telling us all that? To show that das wenn the chinuch, that he got a chinuch. He went and he got a chinuch that he was able to go into Golus. Zok Rav Leaf, what was his tshuva? When he said, Gadol Avayim Insai, and he said, I'm going to be of Nav and Nod, so he was Maida in the Golus. He wasn't Kaifer Begolus. Says the Rabbi said, you're going to go into Golus, and that's going to be your punishment. So he could have said, what do you mean, me? What did I do wrong? It was a fight, and he said this, and it was self-defense, and I didn't mean to do it. It was a shaykh. It was that. No. He said, right away he admitted he was wrong. Hashem says, a person admits he's wrong, that's a good person. That's a person we got to help, because he understood he did something wrong. So I'm going to let him go half, because he wasn't kaifer in his gullus. He understood that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you gullus, that you have to accept that as a punishment. So I'm wondering, and I'd like to be Meisif, what is this Gullus? What is the specific parsha of Gullus that going to Gullus does something for you that's different, that makes you a different person? Maybe Malchus. Maybe you should give Malchus. Why did you give a kind Gullus? Give Malchus. Or Taka didn't give Misa. So he's saying because he wasn't carved from the Gullus, but what's that Gullus? What does the Gullus do for you? So there's a story there was one of the great Telzer Gaonim in Europe was named Becker.Parshas. He was a gifter, always used to speak about Becker.Parshas. So one time he was going on a train to a certain city, he was going with another Talmud Chacham, and they were going to a train together to an Asifa, and they were talking and learning. So they were talking and learning with such Yislavas, they missed their stop. So you miss the stop, it's not like a train, you go across the platform, it takes back. It could be another day. So they were stuck. So they were going to go into the city and find where the Yidden are, so they could find the place they could stay for the night. So the other Talmud Chacham says to them, Ramatlam Roman Gevern Farblunget. We got Farblunget, we got mixed up, we got lost. So after Ramatlam, a Yid is kemol nit farblunget. A person is never farblunget. A person never is lost. He never doesn't know he is. There's no such thing to be babaholic. I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going crazy. No. If you're somewhere, it's because Rebbe put you there. So he said, I feel that if Hashem made us get trachten und zu lernen, it must be we're in this city for a purpose. So they go into the city. And when they go into the city, they go by somebody's house, and they see there's a little bit of a tumult going on. People going in and out of the house, and they all look very happy. So they said, "What's going on?" There's a simcha, but they're having a bris. So the balabus though comes out of the house, and he doesn't look so happy. He's looking. He said, "What are you looking for?" He says, "The mile. The mile didn't show up. We were already waiting 2 hours. He's from a different city. I'm worried that he's not going to make it. What are we going to do?" So Becker.Parshas says, I'm a mile. Or the person with him was a mile. I think the person with him was a mile. So he says, he's a mile. He'll go and he'll make the bris. Zok Rav to the person after the bris was over, I told you, Yid is kemol nisht farblunget. A Jew never gets lost. Hashem's sending you somewhere. So what's this Indian of Gullus? They were niglet, so Hashem, something was there for them. So I was thinking that Gullus be'emison has the same nekuda in a very different way than a vacation. What's that Gullus? My Indian goes to vacation, which we all need. Because what is a vacation? A vacation, a person goes on vacation, he goes to the Rocky Mountains, he goes to Chveis here, he goes there. He's getting out of his own space. He's going to another place, he's seeing how other people do things. He's seeing how there's a different anhoga. I remember I went once to somebody's Shabbos table and they did anhoga at their Shabbos table. It was so beautiful. I loved it. My life was changed. I do that anhoga at my Shabbos table. They went and they make after they make a l'chaim noch and fish, and you read off your names of all your chaylim, you make a l'chaim for the chaylim. Freitag zur Nacht, that's a beautiful idea. We go through all the chaylim. It's a nice thing. So you come and you learn. So Gullus, it helps a person get out of their shell, out of their dalat amis. In politics, a thing called being inside the beltway. What does it mean being inside the bell? It means being outside the bell. You don't really understand anybody. You just have the people around you. You understand. Nobody else you understand. You get into your own reality to the point where there's no other reality. And you can become very stilted. It can become very non-understanding. You're just in your own Dalet Amos. And you go on vacation, and you meet other people, and you see other Nhogas. And one of the my favorite, when you go on vacation, you find a local shul, and you go and you daven there, and you meet new people, you have a new experience. It's a geschmacka thing. You're widening your horizons. A Reitzeach b'shoigig is because he was so reingetung in sein eigener Zach. He was so much doing what he's doing, he didn't think about the greater world. He forgot about it. He forgot that there's a world out there. He's only thinking about himself, he's not thinking about everybody else. So Hashem says, Yeritzeach, I want you to see other people. I want you to go to Ir Miklat. In the Ir Miklat, you'll meet other Reitzlim. You'll hear their stories. You'll hear how you've fallen. You'll learn from it. You go to the Ori Levium. You'll learn from the Heilige Levium. It says, there was a Rabbi once said, Rabbeinu Chananel in Psachim, that why would we oil the regal? He says, he gives a mashal that there's a Rav of a small city, and the people are not so scholarly, and the Rav is like he's the place of Akron over there in that city. But really, he feels, okay, I don't need to learn more. I'm better than all of them. I know how to learn more than all of them. That's it, I'm done. He comes to Yerushalayim, and he's standing in the base of Mikdash, and two enormous Talmidei Chachamim from a different part of the city start talking and learning. And he's standing there, and as they're talking, he's feeling like, I want to go into a hole. They better not ask me anything, because I won't be able to answer their kashas. Their learning is so way above my level. So he goes back humble, and he says, I need to learn more. So by seeing other people, by seeing Talmidei Chachamim, we know that we need to learn more, we need to do more. So Golus takes us out of our comfort zone. Golus puts us in other places where we need to learn. And that perhaps was the story with Cain. Cain just got into the Dalet Amos of, there's only world is him in Hevel. And Hashem said, there's a whole world out there. The whole world isn't you in Hevel. There's going to be more of a world. And you have to see that world. I'm sending you into Golus to teach you how to think big picture and not little picture. So sometimes we get, very tzikrichen in our own lives and within our work, and we think we have relationships not going well, or in the family. We think that's it. The whole world's going to fall down. No, there's a whole world out there. And if you can think whole world, and you can think bigger, then you can solve even the littler things. It becomes easier because that's not all there is. It's not exploding in your head, so to speak. And that's what Golus does. Golus takes us out of our comfort zone and takes us somewhere else where we can learn from other people and we can learn from other things. And that was Cain. So Cain needed to be a Nov and Nod. But once he said, Gadol Avayni Minasai, once he said that, he showed a recognition that, something, I failed. I'm not who I should be. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, something, I appreciate that. You're not there yet. You're not totally there. But I'm going to take care of the no part. You've learned the no part. You don't have to be a no. You don't have to be running halach v'chazal like the malachim, the srafim. They go back and forth, the chashmal, back and forth. You don't have to do that. Not, you still need. So you're going to go, but no, we're going to put you Beretz night. And you'll still have that feeling of, I'm not totally where I should be, and you'll still be learning the lessons of Golus. So we come back to our Parsha, and we come to the people of the Migdal Bavel. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, they all want to be in one place. They're going to become a totalitarian regime. They're going to only have, there's only one way of thinking, and everything's become so intense that people start killing each other, because that's the whole world. I want them to see there's a whole world, there's a ganze Welt out there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a whole world. He created this climate and that climate. Eretz Yisrael has all the climates, right? I remember, never forget, it was once in Yerushalayim, driving in a blinding snowstorm. And then I drove into Tel Aviv, it was like 80 degrees, So when you're in the blinding snowstorms, the whole Welt, that's it, there's only blinding snowstorms. You go to Tel Aviv, Bnei Brak, it's 80 degrees. Different reality. You see them both in one day. So he said, you're going to get too intense. You're going to come for krich. You're not going to be able to think the big picture. You're going to come. This can become your whole Dalet Amos. Everything will become crazy and chas v'shalom. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm going to send you into Gullus. I'm going to send you to all over the world, so everybody will have a Yanika. We have 12 Shvatim. All the 12 Shvatim blend. Each one brings something to the table. So when I'm in Yehud and I go visit Binyamin, I say, oh, that's how Binyamin does it. You go to Naphtali, that's how Naphtali does it. So in the same way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, it's not a punishment, it's a lesson. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching them a lesson. You're now going to go everywhere, and you're all going to have a different Yanika. You're going to have something special, and you can all learn from each other. So we see Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took the Teva, and he put Noach in the Teva, and he wiped out what came before, because it wasn't going to work. But here he didn't. Here he took them all, and he spread them out. And he said, you're spread out. Obviously they weren't in the level of rishus of the pre-Dor HaMabul. And you'll just spread out, and you'll learn from each other, and you're going to grow from each other. And that's what we learn from Gullus. So we have to remember, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts us in a Gullus, there's a reason. We shouldn't be kaifer b'Gullus, as the Rosh Shiva said, but in a different sense. We should realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us Gullus, there's something we're going to learn from that Gullus. And Be'ezus Hashem, when we learn everything that we can from that Gullus, at that point, we'll be Roy for Geula. So let's maximize the lessons that we hear from the Gullus, and we then finish those lessons, internalize them. That will be Zaycha, and will be Roy, worthy of the Geula Shleima B'Meher V'Yamein Amen. A good Shabbos, everybody.